and welcome to your first instructional video for American government. This first unit is going to cover the foundations and formations of government, so let's get started. The first thing you're always going to see when we introduce a new set of videos is going to be the essential questions. You'll never need to write these down. These are just some guiding questions to help us focus on what we want to learn as we go through this unit. So we're going to talk about what government is, why we need it. We're going to talk about how different types and systems of government operate. We're also going to look at how the Enlightenment shaped some American governing philosophies. We're going to talk about some important documents, including the Mayflower Compact, Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, a few other of those, and try to figure out how they shaped our American Constitution. And then we're going to talk about the influences, both positive and negative, from Great Britain on the United States. We're going to look at some characteristics of American democracy, and then we're going to talk about how British actions eventually led to the American Revolutionary War. So let's get to it. Get excited. All right, so the first question we're going to be asking is, what is government, and why do we need it? Okay, so on the Edpuzzle video that you're watching right now, I want you to take a second, and in the box that pops up, I want you to think about what government is to you. Is it the people who make laws and decisions for us? Is it an idea? Is it Washington, D.C.? Is it Jefferson City? I mean, what government is to you? There's no right or wrong answer. This is just to kind of get your government juices flowing, okay? We're also going to look at why we need it. All right, so introduction to government. Before we get into kind of like the meat of what government is, we kind of gotta lay some groundwork. So the first thing we want to look at are 5 important terms. And you're looking at these terms right now and you're like, Ms. Petty, I got this. I know what these terms are. Well, they're going to have a different definition for us in our government class, okay? So starting off with the term state. Now, whenever you hear the term state, you automatically think what? Missouri, Texas, Hawaii, all the states within the United States. But the term state, for our purposes, is not going to refer to Missouri or Illinois or Kansas. It's going to refer to what you know of as a country. Okay, let me back up. There are 3 requirements that an entity must meet in order to be considered a state for our purposes. So the first requirement is that it has to have an organized territory, okay? And another way to say that is you have to be able to find it on a map, okay? The second one is that it has to have an organized government, okay? So if we look at both of those 2 requirements, is Missouri a state right now? Yeah, we have a territory. We have an organized government. So right now, with those just those 2, we are a state. But the third one is where we lose Missouri, okay? A state has to have the authority to make and enforce laws without a higher power, okay? So with that, that's where we lose Missouri, okay? That's where we lose all of the states within the United States. Because if Missouri wants to pass a law, for example, that says, well, you cannot practice your religion, that's going to be in violation of the United States Constitution, and Missouri can't do that, okay? So because Missouri can't make and enforce whatever laws they want, we're not considered a state. So then what is a state? A state is going to be, like I said, a country. The United States would be considered a state, okay? So think about why the United States are called the United States. Why are we called the United States of America? Okay, we'll talk about that when we review this. All right, the next term, nation. A nation is going to be a sizable group of people who share common bonds of race, language, culture, traditions. Now think about that. Is the United States a nation by that definition? Do we all share the same race or the same religion or the same language or traditions or anything like that? I don't know. Think about it. So next we have the term consensus. And a consensus is extremely, extremely important to our United States government, because without this consensus, without the agreement of a large majority of people that our system of government is a good system, then we wouldn't really have a legitimate government. Okay, so the term consensus means most people agree on a specific thing, okay? Next, we have sovereignty. The phrase sovereignty means to have power within your boundaries, okay? So whenever I think of the term sovereignty, I automatically think of someone wearing a crown. Okay, I don't know why. But whenever you hear somebody talk about Queen Elizabeth in England, she is the sovereign of England. She has the authority within her country or within her domain. Okay, so sovereignty refers to power, and then government. This is a fun one. Okay, we have a whole bunch of different definitions of what government is and what government should be and what it does for us and what it shouldn't do for us. Okay, but for our purposes, government is going to be an organization that provides for the protection of the people, maintains the economy, and provides public services. Okay, and we're going to talk about those three things when we review this.